Well, hello there, and welcome back to War Thunder. I'm Corny Swiss, and I guess this first section of this replay is kind of a sneak peek. Yes, I have the M60. Yes, I'm working on a review for it. I'm not going to talk anything about my opinion of this tank yet because I want to save that all for the review. But it's a pretty good one. It's a pretty good tank. I'm having a lot of fun playing it. And this replay is something I think I'm going to start doing more of. I thought about doing this, what I'm about to do, with a much longer replay I have, but I need to think more about that one. But I'm basically going to talk about my thought process the entire time. Oops, just hit my phone. The entire time throughout this game. What was I thinking? Why was I making decisions? Why was I doing things a certain way? And to start off, why did I come out to this village over here? So on the Eastern Europe map, I generally have one philosophy. The side of the river the cap's on is the side of the river I'm going to spawn on. Now, I like taking, when I spawn on the northern half of the map, I like taking this village. And the reason is exactly what you see here. T-54 in the open. He's toast. You know, at this range, with this tank, my first shot is going to likely hit and knock him out. Something I've noticed that the M60 actually has enough armor to deal with a T-54 shell directly to the face. I just took a T-10 shell directly to the face. That's pretty good. But that T-10 is being awkward for me, and right now my thought is, alright, I know there's a Panther II off to my left on the mini-map, and he's actually shelling this guy right now. I was trying to line up a sneaky side shot on this guy, but he's just behind the hill, and he's actually going to back up even more and make the shot impossible. So I have two options here. I can wait for him to come back out, but to me that basically guarantees one of us is going to get hit, and although I will have the first shot, he can make it so that my first shot has a low chance of disabling or knocking him out. On the other hand, I don't have any cover here. I have cover to my right, but I don't have any cover to my front, which is where he's going to be shooting me from, so I need to reposition. I need to make it weird. I need to try and get around to him, get close to him, because that's where my advantages are going to come around. Now, I stop here because I thought he came out a little bit, because he's still shooting at that Panther II. Panther II will not be able to deal with the T-10. You know, I need to be the one who kills the T-10. I just know that. So I'm going to blitz forward across this field. Notice how I'm going to the right of his position because I don't know how far he backed up. Now, he did come out and I did take another shell to the face. That's pretty lucky. But the M60 is kind of a tough little tank. Now, I know that my rate of fire is much better than his. And I know that just caused him some critical damage. It's entirely possible that he won't be loaded by the time I get there. Right, so I'm not going to play around. I'm going to sprint over to this hill, go over the top, and try and get the next shot in. I feel pretty confident about my ability to knock him out here. So I ride up over the hill, I put a shot down into him, and he's dead. That can be tough to do, and I wasn't fully sure of how it would work, and I don't feel great about this. But yeah, that's an IS-4 down there. Looks like he's just spawned. Light him up with machine gun until I get a hit marker and then fire the shell that knocks him out. Now with the T-10 though, notice how when I was advancing I was also angling the front of my tank. I was giving myself the best chance of survival in a situation that wasn't great, but was kind of what needed to happen. Right? He was in a much stronger position than I was, so I needed to be the one to force the issue and try and take advantage of my speed, take advantage of my somewhat good armor, and just the rate of fire of my gun. If I get into a peekabang fight, he's going to win eventually, just because we're going to fire the same number of shots at each other, and his shots are bigger. So that can be a little bit of an issue. SU-122-54 here. My first shot was an attempt to hit his engine block. Because if I hit his engine, he would have been obviously frozen, and I could have easily picked up the kill, but my shot went a little weird, didn't hit his engine. Oh, and there he goes. He's still trying to run down that alley, and I'm going to squeeze the shot off and hit his track. That basically tells me, okay, I have an opportunity now to rush forward, and try and get behind him while his track is blown off and finish him off for free. Now my next shot needs to go into the engine block because I don't need him turning anymore. Basically, I want my next shot to go into his engine block, hopefully set him on fire. If it doesn't set him on fire, no big deal. But I want to disable his engine, so that way he doesn't get a chance to turn around. My next shot goes right through his crew compartment and he gets knocked out. But he's making it kind of tough for me. He is still moving forward. It looks like he was able to repair his track or whatever happened. But he's still in this alleyway. There he is. Gonna put a shot into him. I actually start taking hits here from, I don't even know what. It looks like a plane. But he's on fire. That's going to be an issue for him. But now he's trying to light me up with machine guns, but I'm not scared of his machine guns. And there you go, burns up. But the whole reason that play was successful was kind of back to how I aggressively attacked the T-10. It put me in a weird position, and being in a weird position is usually a good thing, because when you're in a weird position, a lot of times the enemy don't think about you being there. And I think I saw the guy who knocks me out right here. I think I saw him just then when before I made that turn. Yep, IS-3 happens. You gotta have your head on a swivel, and I think I saw him in the replay just now, and that was just me not fully recognizing his tank, even though I think I looked at him. But yeah, I definitely looked at where he was, so that could have been another easy one. I'm gonna take out a plane here. Why? Couldn't really tell you. I don't really have a real reason why I do it sometimes. My thought is that there's some tough tanks on the ground. We have tanks on the ground already. If I come in here and I rocket one tank, I'll likely have enough points to spawn another one. So, or just spawn a tank of my own. So taking a plane out, to me, is basically a free kill, because I usually fly my Mustang and I load it up with rockets, and I just I'll just go in, rocket somebody, and then try and just harass with machine guns until either I get shot down or I run out of ammo, and I just head back to the base, and I come back out again. Kind of rinse and repeat, but usually I can guarantee one kill, maybe two, depending on how I allocate my rockets. And I know where that IS-3 is. This is basically the easiest way for me to knock him out, is just to go and hit him with rockets. Now I'm flying to where I know he is. Oh, saw something there. Rockets away. And it looks like we bagged a T-54, another dangerous tank. So that was definitely worth the cost of rockets. But at this point, I'm going to try and just start flying harassing fire. I'm looking for the enemy. And basically, I'm trying to find the enemy that are in weird spots so I can warn my team. Now, I'm not going to find any in particular, but I am just going to generally harass people, because like usually when you start taking just random fire, you assume the worst, and you generally don't always keep a cool head. So sometimes it's a good idea to harass, kind of give them something else to think about. Now that was a little unfortunate. So basically what's happened is my right wing is pretty useless right now. It's very difficult for me to turn right or left, really. I can't keep the nose down either way. I'm going to level it out. I'm going to be able to fly back to the area of our base, and I'm going to skip forward a little bit to when that becomes relevant. So here I am on approach to the runway, but I notice that there's a Fokker Wolf sitting right under me. I kind of can't land like that. My plane is damaged. I thought about warning him in chat, like, I need to put this thing down. It's going to be difficult for me to pull these maneuvers. But I don't know. He's in a better position to land, so I kind of start trying to bank around and make a second pass, but it's ultimately going to be a real issue keeping this plane's nose down. I mean, because you can see the damage on my wing. There's a big old hole in there, and it looks like my flaps or ailerons or whatever they are on the side are really torn up. So the real question is, am I going to be able to turn to my left, reasonably? I'm in a decent position on the runway, and my speed is okay. I'll ditch a bunch of speed in the turn, but you can see this thing just isn't turning. My next thought was, okay, well, I'll just pull like a 270-degree turn to the right. I can turn right. Well, yeah, it kind of just forced my nose down, and then just took me into the ground. Crashed, though, right? That's cool. My plane's mostly intact. Just slap some new wings on it, give it some more propellers. Should be good, right? No? Maybe? Either way, I am going to spawn into my M103, which is maybe what I should have done initially. But my usual thought with the M103 is that it needs to be just the hand of freedom. You know, you want to keep the engagements at long range just because your armor isn't the best. But your gun makes up for it, and you can easily knock out any tank you meet at any range with the heat shells loaded in it. Now, I start off with AP loaded. I didn't actually realize that. I know there's IS-3 on the ground, and I'd much rather have heat against them, because I feel good about knocking out an IS-3 frontally with heat, not necessarily with AP. But the enemy have recapped the zone, and we have a Leopard and a AAA, or we have a flak truck out there in the field. The Leopard's been hanging out a lot on the southern portion of the map, and he's just now kind of coming into the city, and looks like he's going to try and cross the bridge and come help. So basically, I need to be the anvil to his hammer. I need to be here to take hits and to execute unsuspecting IS-3. This guy, it looks like this guy's gun is actually blown, so not the worst thing in the world. The first shot was AP, the second shot's going to be a heat shell. And I'm basically just going to try and send this right through the front of his tank. Not many ways you can do this part wrong. Shell goes right through, knocks out his tank. He was already heavily damaged. And the anti-aircraft truck has already made it into the cap, and he is now decapping, which is good, because it means I don't have to go in the cap circle. One of the things I hate doing more than anything is going into the cap circle. Every strategic thought I have generally pushes me away from the cap circle, because it's just too easy to bomb people. Well, I mean, you have to be somewhat skilled at it, I understand that, but I mean, I can rocket people, right? I can just spray a bunch of rockets into a cap circle and kill someone, and I'm not a very good pilot, so basically it makes it so that it's going to be hard for me to defend myself, so I don't want to be in the cap. I'd rather let someone else cap. I'd rather go out on the flank and be kind of flank support, or take up positions to attack the enemy as they advance. Because that's where you really make your bread and butter in War Thunder, is just catching them unawares. Now, directly ahead of me is an IS-3 on the other side of that building. I spot him, and he hasn't spotted me. Now, this is a classic trick from the World of Tanks days that you can still use quite effectively, especially with IS-3 because their engine decks are so long. I'm going to come around here, and he's actually just going to be sticking out the end. I put a shell into his engine block, set him on fire. My whole intention there was to disable him. I don't care if that shell kills him. I would be nice if it sets him on fire, and it did. But I'm basically, until he burned out, I was just going to keep him on fire. Just keep hitting him, keep lighting him on fire. Another IS-3, that was unfortunate. I really needed that to do more than that. And now he's going to turn his gun, and I need to angle as best I can to avoid the incoming fire I'm about to receive. Light him up with machine gun, but nah, it wasn't meant to be. But I hope this replay, because that's basically it for my involvement in this replay. We would go on to win pretty well. But basically where I wanted to take this replay was to kind of discuss some of the strategic things I think about when I'm playing. I want to do, when I build up the courage to do the replay I originally planned for this, which is a mammoth replay. It's probably one of the longest games I've ever played. I'm really going to dig into my thought process. This replay was a little faster than I probably needed to be, but I hope maybe that was insightful. I know people have asked that I do something like this, and I'm also going to do one where I take a more overarching look to the map, like kind of the thought coming into the game and how it evolves throughout the game. But anyway, as always, thanks for watching. I've been Corny Swiss, and I'll see you next time.